Level 1, the Ashigaru, the disposable spear. The first thing you learn is that the Shogunate smells like wet straw, human waste, and the metallic tang of cheap iron. You are 16, a conscripted peasant standing in a flooded rice paddy in Owari, clutching a 4.5-meter Negiyari bamboo spear that feels twice your weight. The rain is a constant, rhythmic drumming against your jingesa, a conical iron hat that vibrates with every drop, chilling your skull. There is no glory here, only the frantic beating of the taiko drums and the sight of 300 charging cavalrymen appearing through the mist like vengeful spirits. Your stomach churns with a meager ration of 2.5 go of moldy rice you ate at dawn. When the order comes to level spears, your knuckles turn white against the splintered wood. You aren't a warrior. You are a human fence meant to die, so a man on a horse can claim a hill. As the first horse slams into your rank, the sound is a sickening crunch of bone and snapping timber, the 450-kilogram beast screaming as it impales itself on your line. You survive not because of skill, but because the man next to you took the blow instead, his blood hot and salty as it sprays across your face, mixing with the freezing rain. Level 2, the Rappa, the mountain scout. Silence is the only currency that buys you another sunrise in the jagged ridges of IGA. You have shed the heavy spear for a short, soot-blackened wakizashi and a heart that beats only 40 times a minute. The air up here is thin and tastes of damp pine needles and the acrid smoke of distant, burning villages. You are a Rappa, a shadow walker earning 4 copper mon a day to map the unmappable. Your feet, wrapped in indigo-dyed cotton tabi, move across dry leaves with the sound of a moth's wing. You spend 16 hours crouched in a cedar thicket, watching a supply train of 20-pack horses wind through the valley 300 meters below. You count every banner, every grain sack, and every matchlock rifle. The hunger is a dull, constant ache in your gut, suppressed only by chewing on bitter medicinal roots. When a rival scout stumbles upon your position, there is no cinematic duel. You drive a 15-centimeter iron spike into his throat before he can even inhale. The sound is a wet hiss, like a drop of water hitting a hot forge, and you fade back into the mist before his body hits the dirt. Level 3, the Ronin, the masterless blade. Freedom is a heavy burden when it smells like cheap, sour sake and the dust of 1,000 nameless crossroads. You are a wave man, a Ronin wandering the Kanto plain with a chipped katana and a reputation for being the most expensive blade in the tea house. The atmosphere in the post towns is thick with the scent of roasting horse meat and the charcoal of burned shrines. You sit in the corner of a gambling den, the rhythmic clack-clack of wooden dice against a porcelain cup echoing the ticking of your own mortality. A local merchant, shaking with fear, offers you 7 koku of rice to eliminate a debt collector from a rival clan. You weigh the 1.2 kilogram steel in your hand, a blade that has tasted the life of 12 men this year alone. When the confrontation happens in a narrow alley, it is over in 3.4 seconds. The sound is a single, sharp shink of steel meeting silk and bone. You don't feel remorse. You only feel the weight of the coins in your pouch and the cold wind whistling through your frayed cotton kimono. Level 4, the Musa-shugyo, the dueling wanderer. To master the sword, you must become a connoisseur of death and the precise geometry of a killing stroke. You have entered the period of Musa-shugyo, traveling from dojo to dojo, challenging masters to prove your worth. The air in the training hall smells of floor wax, cedar, and the stale sweat of men who have dedicated 20 years to a single motion. You carry a bakkin made of heavy white oak, scarred by 40 previous bouts. Your eyes are fixed on the 2-centimeter gap between your opponent's wrist and his guard. The silence is absolute until the moment of the strike, a sudden, explosive ki shout that shatters the stillness. You feel the vibration travel up your arms as your wooden blade connects with his temple at a speed of 15 meters per second. The crack is like a dry branch snapping in midwinter. You leave the hall without a word, your mind already calculating the 120-mile trek to the next province where a master of the spear awaits. You are no longer fighting for rice. You are fighting to turn your body into a living, breathing weapon of the Shogunate. Level 5, the Kachi-musha, the elite shock trooper. The roar of the battlefield at Sekigahara is a physical wall of sound that vibrates in your very marrow. You are now a Kachi-musha, an elite foot soldier permitted to wear a full-do suit of lacquered iron plates weighing 15 kilograms. There is a suffocating fog of sulfurous black powder smoke and the copper stench of 10,000 open wounds. You carry a matchlock Tanegashima rifle, the barrel burning hot enough to blister your palms through your leather gloves. You see a high-ranking commander 50 paces away, his golden crest shimmering through the smoke. You don't aim for his chest. You aim for the 3-inch gap in his throat guard. You hold your breath, the world slowing down to the beat of your own pulse, and pull the trigger. The recoil kicks your shoulder like a mule, and the 18mm lead ball punches through history. As the commander falls, you draw your katana and charge into the breach, the sound of 1,000 men screaming banzai drowning out the thunder of the rain. Level 6, the Shinobi no Mano, the invisible hand. The world has shrunk to the size of a ceiling crawl space, smelling of ancient dust, bat guano, and the bitter oil you use to silence the door hinges. You are a shinobi, a scalpel used by the shogun to excise his political enemies before they can draw a breath. Your tools are silent. A 50-centimeter straight-bladed shinobi katana, a vial of poison derived from the liver of a pufferfish, and a pair of muffled shuko climbing claws. You spend 5 hours hanging from the rafters of a warlord's fortress, your muscles screaming in a slow-motion agony of stillness. Below you, the target drinks tea with his concubine, unaware that death is exactly 3 meters above his head. You wait for the precise moment a gust of wind rattles the shutters. You drop like a stone. The kill is a single, surgical puncture through the base of the skull. No blood spills on the tatami. You are gone through the window before the body even cools, leaving only a faint scent of winter plum behind as your signature. Level 7, the Hatamoto, the Shogun's bannerman. You stand at the right hand of the Shogun, high-ranking Hatamoto with an annual stipend of 5,000 koku, and the terrifying authority of the right to strike. Your world is one of extreme, clinical contrast, the absolute peace of the tea ceremony, and the absolute violence of the shogunate's law. The smell is that of expensive sandalwood incense, and the parchment of 1,000 death warrants. You wear a kamishimo with starched, wing-like shoulders that make you look like a predatory bird of prey. When you walk through the streets of Edo, the 20,000 commoners press their foreheads into the mud, for even looking at your face is a capital offense. Your 1.5 kilogram dado is no longer for duels. It is for the ritual execution of those who have failed the state. You spend your mornings studying the 13 articles of the warrior code, and your afternoons overseeing the decapitation of a corrupt magistrate. You have become the law, a gilded cage of duty where every breath is regulated by the suffocating weight of honor. Level 8, the Taisho, the architect of war. The map spread before you on the lacquer table is 3 meters wide, a parchment landscape where you move 50,000 lives with a single flick of your calligraphy brush. You are the Taisho, the Grand General, sitting on a folding stool atop a hill overlooking the final siege of the era. The sound is a low tectonic hum of a massive army in waiting, the clatter of 30,000 stirrups, the neighing of 5,000 warhorses, and the rhythmic chanting of Buddhist monks praying for the dead. You don't smell blood anymore. You smell the salt of the distant sea and the cold ozone of a coming storm. Your concern is the logistics of 200,000 kilograms of rice and the shifting loyalties of 12 vassal lords who would kill you for a single acre of land. You raise your gun-by war fan, a 600-gram instrument of command, and with a simple downward motion, you ignite the horizon. As the fortress burns in the distance, you realize that the path of a hero was a lie told to the boys in the mud. You are not a hero. You are the cold, calculating geometry of a nation's peace, and your soul is the price you paid for the silence that follows the slaughter.